On the 4th of August, thank you so much for allowing us into your space. This is your lunchtime news, and I'm Patricia Lokoma Mpango, and straight away into the bulletin. The second batch of youth under the Presidential Industrial Hubs has been assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training and is ready for the job market. These have been undergoing 6-month skills training in different trades, and according to the Director, Presidential Industrial Hubs and Projects, Engineer Raymond Kamgisha, this initiative is aimed at addressing socio-economic development through job creation.
Over 4,000 youth from 19 presidential industrial hubs countrywide have been assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training and are ready to create employment for development. These have been undergoing courses like tailoring, welding, carpentry, hairdressing, bricklaying and bakery. The Director, Presidential Industrial Hubs and Presidential Projects, Engineer Raymond Kamgisha, says the vision to reduce unemployment among the youth in the countryside is now a reality.
Because we talk about unemployment, but majorly it is because our people, Ugandans, don't have, most of our youth, don't have employable skills. So what Industrial Hubs is addressing, it is giving people skills.
Engineer Kamgisha says that the initiative is supported by State House and all unemployed youth are free to join.
It is a residential program and all people, we accommodate them. Now we are currently accommodating 4,600 for free. You come and you learn your skills and go back and change your society.
The systems administrator at the Directorate of Industrial Training, Mwesgwa Isaac, said this program opens chances for youth to upgrade to higher skilling levels.
Really, candidates have learned, have got skills. People are doing things that would have been got in different technical schools, but the hubs have put them in place to help the society. Seen candidates, really, they are doing things that are in line with DIT standards.
The zonal hubs managers say such skills acquired by the youth will transform them and their communities.
To urge the youth who are out there to come and grab this great opportunity. Please come and create your future, because the best way to predict your future is to create it. The program is free, there is no qualification required, it's just your willingness to come and learn.
The youth which has already acquired these skills, I'm seeing after we passing them out, they are able to stand on their own. And let me give for you the example of bakery. Bakery, they have been doing their products and they sell them.
The youth hail government for the program, which they say is providing them with employable skills.
I advise each and every youth there to at least have 1 or 2 skills, hand-to-hand skills, because the future where we are going, it is skills.
And we are so grateful for that. As we are here, actually, we have been home. The President of Uganda did something. He created these hubs to help us, the youth, to acquire skills that we are going to survive on at home.
Sudat Kaye and Henry Muganga, UBC News.
Now, Niger's National Council for Safeguarding the Homeland has denounced a military pact with France and the neighboring African states not to intervene in its affairs. Now, the junta assumed power in a military coup last week. In a televised address last night, a representative of the putschist government said that Niger will immediately suspend all military cooperation agreements with France, including the deal under which Paris has deployed around 1,500 troops in the Sahel country.
Foreign military forces and occupations, including French forces. It is high time for these forces that have been driven out of Mali and Burkina Faso to leave Niger. We demand from ECOWAS the unconditional lifting of all unjust decisions against our country. Finally, we call on the people of the ECOWAS countries to go out en masse in the cities and capitals to disavow the leaders of these puppet, corrupt and mercenary institutions acquired in the pay of imperialist France.
Niger should not be a testing ground for an anti-coup force. Niger will not be a testing ground for this ECOWAS force to restore an order that has already fallen. My presence here is to show my rejection as a whole of the inhuman, illegal, and illegitimate sanctions have been imposed by organizations under the leadership of international powers.
ECOWAS is a dutiful puppet of France because all that we see happen is from ECOWAS. France guides ECOWAS, which puts the French will in force. So we say ECOWAS is not independent, but is there to serve France. All that is happening in ECOWAS are measures from France that ECOWAS implements, even if it's illegal.
France currently has around 1,500 troops in Niger. It had counterinsurgency troops in West Africa for a decade, but turned to Niger to base the bulk of its forces following coups in neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso in 2021 and 2022. The United States has over 1,000 troops in Niger, operating out of 2 bases. Niger's coup leaders also announced they would respond immediately to any aggression by West African countries. This comes 3 days before an ECOWAS ultimatum to restore order in the country expires. Niger's coup leaders also said they were ending the mandates of ambassadors of 4 countries, including the U.S., France, Nigeria, and Togo. That's as the ousted Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum called on the international community to help in restoring constitutional order in the country. Meanwhile, a delegation from ECOWAS landed in Niger on Thursday evening for talks. The West African Union introduced sanctions against the country following the coup, including severe economic and travel restrictions. Nigeria, a member of the bloc, has also cut off electricity supply to the republic, leading to blackouts in major cities. Several African states have expressed their readiness to send troops into Niger if ECOWAS decides to take action, with Senegal calling for the bloc to intervene.
We are in a community organization that has decided that, and it is called ECOWAS. Senegal is an international signatory. We can't be a member of ECOWAS without subscribing to the decisions made by the organization.
Now, in the tourism sector, the number of rhinos killed for their homes in South Africa decreased as authorities stepped up efforts to tackle poaching of the endangered animals. The South African nation is home to most of the world's rhino population. Let's hear more in this.
In the last 8 years alone, at least a quarter of the world's rhino population has been killed in this country. But interventions by authorities seems to be turning the tide. According to the statistics released by the Environmental Affairs Department, in the first 6 months of 2023, 231 rhinos were killed here in South Africa. These figures represent an 11% decrease or a decline of 28 animals killed for their horn compared with the same period last year. Between January 1 and June 30, 2023, poaching trends also continued to show a move away from the Kruger National Park to provincial and private reserves.
Unfortunately, the first 6 months of this year has continued to show the trend that rhino poaching is moving away from the Kruger National Park to provincial and private reserves. 42 rhino were poached in the Kruger National Park, 143 in KwaZulu-Natal. 46 of the rhino killed were in privately owned reserves and 143 in provincially owned reserves.
Minister Creasy reported that because the demand for rhino horn remains a constant threat to rhino populations, collaboration between the law enforcement agencies, custom officials and private security remains key. She says many arrests have been made.
I am pleased to say today that the majority of sentences in these cases were custodial sentences. In Skukuza, one suspect found guilty of killing 3 rhino and possession of unlawful arms and ammunition was sentenced to an effective 32 years imprisonment. In another matter, 3 accused found driving around the Kruger Park with 5 rhino horns hidden in the vehicle, a hunting rifle, ammunition and knives, were convicted for the killing of 3 rhino and possession of unlawful firearms.
But the minister remains particularly concerned about the displacement from the Kruger National Park to other areas.
We are particularly concerned about what's going on at the moment at Hluhluwe-Mfolozi, although the figures are not representative of the crisis that Kruger faced. Nevertheless, I think we have to be concerned that almost every single day this year, a rhino has been killed in Hluhluwe-Mfolozi. And that is why we are switching our focus to that area. We're also obviously very concerned about displacement to private reserves.
In recent years, the government has tightened security at the Kruger National Park and stepped up efforts to tackle the illegal trade in wildlife parts. Chrissy says they will do the same in other areas. Yolisa Njamela for CGTN in Pretoria, South Africa.
All the way from South Africa. Now, students from Africa can expect increased opportunities to study in Russia. The Russian government says its quota for African students has been increased to 150% over the past 3 years. That has created the opportunity for more than 47,000 or 4,700 African students to be enrolled in Russian universities for the next academic year.
Nearly 35,000 students from Africa study in Russian universities, and politicians are hoping to secure an increase in that number.
We would like more and more students to come to Russia, to come and learn across a number of disciplines.
Some of those subject areas include sciences, engineering, nuclear physics, technologies, and agriculture. Muhammad Jallo from Sierra Leone is one of many African students already benefiting from the training programs.
I believe when I finish my studies here, become a trained medical doctor, and I want to make an impact not only to my country but Africa at large.
It is an impact that could be spread broader. The Russia government says its quota for African students has been increased by 150% over the past 3 years. That has created the opportunity for more than 4,700 extra African students to be enrolled in Russian universities for the next academic year. According to the Africa Union statistics, literacy rates in countries across Africa are about 70%. Education leaders believe the expanded student programs and scope of study will benefit the continent.
We are developing also joint programs with African universities, so we can just share the expertise from our professionals with the professionals from African universities. I think that it will be a success.
It's not just at university level where there is classroom cooperation. There are also plans to open education centers to train African teachers at preschool, primary and secondary level. Leon Senyange, CGTN, Moscow, Russia.
Now, the Kenyan government has blocked the WorldCoin cryptocurrency project from recruiting new customers in the country, citing data privacy and security concerns. The Interior Minister raises issues over the secure storage of data that includes iris scans and placing large amounts of personal data in the hands of private businesses.
In Kenya's capital of Nairobi, hundreds have been lining up in public centers and malls in a WorldCoin craze. Most of them are young people motivated by what they heard was free cash awarded after scanning one's iris.
Online. I found the information online. I applied and I was told to come to town center at the KICC. When I got here, I found people queuing. I applied and they scanned my eyes, and now I am waiting for the money.
Local media reports that 350,000 people in Kenya have signed up already. Their registration was in exchange for free cryptocurrency tokens worth around 7,000 Kenya shillings, just under $50 US. Representatives of the biometric cryptocurrency project say they are creating a new global identity and financial network.
So first of all, no two human beings around the world have the same set of eyes. And the iris in particular has what we call very high entropy. And entropy is richness in data. And so with just the iris and the iris code, we can be able to create a database of unique humans around the world without their name, their age, their country, no other information, none whatsoever.
While some are motivated by the money, others are keeping an eye on this new crypto coin that is seemingly too promising. The Kenyan government has suspended registrations of WorldCoin, citing security concerns. Cryptocurrency experts also question the activities around the WorldCoin, calling them vague.
If they're scanning iris and they're collecting this critical data about humanity, or what they quote unquote say to be a good way for proof of humanity, how would this then increase the value in the short term? In the long term, perhaps if the demand for such kind of data increases, then you would say that it would be sold to the highest bidder.
WorldCoin is also under scrutiny in other countries, including Germany, France, and Britain. Wanjamungai, CGTN.
To take a short break and return with more. Stay with us.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
The biggest, the baddest East African Christian Marathon is here. Come participate at the East African Christian Marathon for a prayer run on the 13th of August 2023 at the Lugogo Hockey Grounds. Come represent your family at the prayer run and run for a good cause to build the first call center, which will be East Africa's virtual listener. Come for the prayer run alongside your pastors, leaders, representatives from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, South Sudan, and of course Uganda. Participate with Honorable Captain Mike Mukula, who is the chief runner and patron. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Make your donation for your kid now from 20,000, 30,000 and 100,000 Uganda shillings, because runs change the world. For more details, call 0781 885 055 or visit our website at www.eastafricachristianmarathon.org. Proudly sponsored by PKF, UBC, Venro Health, Aquafina, and Moving Preacher.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say.
Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles?
So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too. Dial *100*0# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*0#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*0# to get started.
Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Time for sports. Uganda women's netball team, the She Cranes, fell narrowly to the 52-50 defeat to host South Africa at the ongoing 2023 Netball World Cup on Thursday. Now the She Cranes, who were treated to a hostile home crowd, mounted to a second half comeback that nearly stole a win from the South African after the latter had held the commanding 33-19 lead at the halftime. Now, while it was a defeat, the She Cranes left the Ugandans in the stands, and especially at home, wholly proud for not only today's display, but throughout the tournament. They now await their final game against yet to be determined opponent in Sunday's game that will determine who finishes 5th and 6th. And of course, the She Cranes' pride will be defeating Wales, Trinidad, Tobago, and will also look at classification as they bow out of the tournament.
Oweni doing good there, just coming around, controlling that ball. Giving Talia.
We tried our level best, but I think the umpires were not on our side because most of the balls were snatched from our hands and there was nothing we could do. But so far, we've lost by 2 and I hope we are going to meet them next time. So we are going to rectify on those mistakes. We are going to work on our energy. So next time it will be, I think we shall be able to win. The game was not easy as you've all seen. They led us by almost 20 goals, but then we came up slowly by slowly and took them by 2. Unfortunately, we did not work so hard, but had we go on working so hard like we've done in the last 2 quarters, I think we would have won.
Brazil also has their own caution, so the 2 players are really backing it out there. But that is the result at the end of the day. Sport Proteas taking the victory.
Now, South Africa secured its first ever victory at the Women's World Cup and qualified for the round of 16. The 3-2 win over men's that the African champion joins as the Africa's representatives in the last 16. Let's hear more in this report.
Champions and the millions glued to their television screens and mobile phones across the Rainbow Nation for the do-or-die encounter in the New Zealand capital. And when Italy equalised in the 74th minute, it appeared as if Banyana's campaign was over. But stand-in captain and former African Women's Player of the Year, Thembi Kgatlana, pounced and scored in the 92nd minute to send South Africa into the last 16 for the first time.
Everyone is here and happy and excited, and I think this is something great for women's football in our country. Personally, for everyone that worked in this team, all the 23 players that are here and all the other players that were part of, making this team get ready for the World Cup, the coaches for preparing us, I think it's a beautiful moment and everyone should enjoy it.
For most of the tournament, South Africa had been left to rue their missed opportunities and lapses in concentration. But on a night when the entire team were in sync and goalkeeper Kaylin Swart produced several wonderful saves, their efforts paid off without their regular captain Rafilwe Jane, who I'm told will be fit for the next match.
It still hasn't sunk in yet. It's an incredible feeling. I mean, I'm even stumbling my words because I can't believe it, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time for me to realize what we actually did and for this generation to make history. I mean, in the 28 years of my life, I would have never thought that this would happen, but we're living our dream right now, and the fact that we made history is an incredible feeling, and I hope that the nation really sees that we are capable of achieving these things.
There has been a lot of naysayers criticising Banyana since their opening defeat to Sweden and the draw against Argentina. But on a famous night in Wellington, they have silenced those critics with a hard-fought and gutsy display against Italy. Another reason to smile for the African champions is that their earnings at the World Cup have now doubled from $49,000 per player to a guaranteed $98,000. Plenty to celebrate for Desiree Ellis and her Chargers before their thoughts shift to a historic last 16 showdown this Sunday against the Netherlands. CS du Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg.
Now, still in sports preparations to have the international league season begin. In England, the famous Premier League that has dominated televisions and media rights starts next week. However, revealers will be graced with the Community Shield game this Sunday that stands as the opener to the Premier League.
Throning City as it looks to avenge last season's painful.
Oh, no.
Mike Arteta has challenged big spending Arsenal to deliver a statement of intent ahead of the Premier League season when it faces treble winner Manchester City in the Community Shield on Sunday. Arteta's side have its sights set on dethroning City as it looks to avenge last season's painful collapse in the title race. Fueled by a spending spree of more than £200 million on England midfielder Declan Rice, German forward Kai Havertz and Dutch defender Jaren Timber, Arsenal has an opportunity to show it is equipped to end City's 3 years reign as champion. Arsenal finished 5 points behind Pep Guardiola's men despite holding an 8-point lead in April, and Ghana's boss Arteta knows this weekend's glamour friendly at Wembley offers an opportunity to lay down a marker. The annual curtain raiser to the English top flight league does not always prove an accurate barometer for what is to come, but it does serve as the perfect appetizer for the Premier League, which kickstarts with City's trip to Burnley on August 11. Arsenal's opener comes against Nottingham Forest the following day in a rematch with a team which ended its title bid with a 1-0 win at the City ground in May.
Rasmus Højlund has completed his Manchester United medical ahead of finalizing his move to Old Trafford. The Atalanta ace is on the brink of becoming the club's third signing of the summer transfer window after agreed a deal with the Italian club last weekend. The Reds have agreed to an overall package worth 72 million euros and 64 million euros, of which is being paid up front. Though the deal is now on the brink of being finalized, it is possible that United may wait until the weekend to officially announce the arrival. The Reds face RC Lens at the Old Trafford on Saturday lunchtime. Meanwhile, Fiorentina midfielder Sofiane Amrabat is of the interest to manager Erik ten Hag, though a move will only be made. And that does bring us to the end of our lunchtime news. Thank you so much for being a part of us. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Stay tuned.